The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, has stated that the ZU government, the Nigerian government, are going to use other diplomatic means to extradite Simon Ekpa back to Nigeria. He categorically stated that the Nigerian government are exploiting routes to discuss with the European Union to extradite Mazi Ekpa Simon Njoku. And if you look at your screen, you discover that on a media outing, Okoro was asked on what he feels or what he thinks about this move from the Nigerian government, stating clearly that we have had issues of the government saying that they are going to do this and do that against Simon Ekpa, but in the end, nothing was materialistic. This is because the Finnish government has told the Nigerian government categorically clear that Simon Ekpa is a Finnish citizen and he has the right and freedom of speech and has not committed any crime under the Finnish law. And so they are now looking for other ways to bring back Simon Ekpa. Why are they doing this? Because they feel that his activities and everything he is doing is against their evil plans, is against their evil contraption, is against their evil movements in the zoo. And so they don't want anybody to disrupt their evil plans against innocent people. And that is why they are going against a man who has told them to do the right thing. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who your court has freed. You do not want to do that. Allow the people to choose where they want to belong. You say no. We are in democracy. Democracy is the government for the people, by the people, and of the people. So if you do not allow the people to take charge, if you do not allow the people to determine where they want, then you are mistaken. Some of them will come out and say that the Nigerian government does not have a space or a caveat for referendum. But then they are a signatory to the African laws, and one of those laws states that referendum is allowed. And so when you are a signatory to any treaty or any law, then that treaty becomes binding to that country who have signed that treaty. And as such, Nigeria is a member of that treaty, and that treaty becomes law in Nigeria. It becomes law in Nigeria.
Yeah. Let's start off with the federal government through General Buba, stating that the federal government has already commenced plans for the extradition of Simon Ekpa. Now, Major General Edward Buba, who is the Director of Defense Media Operations, revealed that the government would respond appropriately through diplomatic channels. Now, this is not the first time we've heard this from the federal government. I remember the first time where the federal government said they had written to the government of Finland. At the time, they invited Simon Ekpa for questioning at the headquarters there in Finland, where they asked questions, because at the time they said that Simon Ekpa is the one responsible for the insecurity in the southeast. Now, when he was invited, he had responded to quite a number of questions right there in Finland, and he was later released. So what is stopping, or what other diplomatic channels are they going by? If the government of Finland does not find him guilty of anything, if they have invited him for questioning, how is the method going to be? How possible would it be for him to be extradited to Nigeria to respond to the federal government's call?
Okay, Esther, it's good that we are getting to hear this from the government.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and it's a clear departure from the illegality that we witnessed in the past.
All right.
We have a government that is saying, okay, we are going to follow diplomatic channel, diplomatic protocol to ensure that we bring back this young man to come and answer to charges of terrorism, to charges of hate speech, incitement, and all of that. Like I said, it's good that we are getting to hear this from the government.
Okay.
But we also had a government that went out of their way to extraordinarily extraordinary rendition of a young man, you know, Nnamdi Kanu, who is now at the center of the drama of whatever insecurity that the government thinks is going on in the southeast. I say that in the light of the fact that you see the government is quick to point fingers at people that cause insecurity in certain regions, but the government at the same time absorbs itself of the blame that they should carry in fueling insecurity. I've said several times, what the government needs to do is unpack holistically the whole issue of insecurity in different regions of the country. What is causing, or what started the insecurity in the southeast is because a certain group of people, members of this union, felt strongly that they had been excluded, shut out from the resources, from the economic high command of this country, in security apparatus, in whatever, in state creation. Every other region has 6. It's only the southeast that has 5. Despite their contributions to the national wealth, despite their emphasis on the unity of this country, people from the southeast, if you ask me, have demonstrated more faith in the unity of this country than any other group of people.
Mr. Chukwu Okoro, to buttress what you're trying to say, in the recent security appointments, especially on the President's security team for 2024, there's a list that was out. Now, Southwest dominates. You have more of the North Central and Northwest, including the Southwest. Now, the security team actually shows that in the 15 appointments, Southwest has 6 appointees, Northwest has 4, North Central 2, Northeast 2, and Southeast 1.
Just 1. And so how do you expect the people to keep quiet? I think that this president was even magnanimous to give the Southeast 1. In the previous administration, Southeast got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, you've been saying this administration is magnanimous for giving us 1. Wow.
You know, in comparison with what happened in the past. And it was the thing, it was the actions of the past leadership of this country that spiked the whole issue of insecurity. And I keep saying, before 2015, Nnamdi Kanu wasn't asking for the Southeasterners to exit this union. His emphasis was on, please, how do we make this union work?
So this boils down to the fact that the government is not even interested in the Biafran people, the Southeast, the South people, wherever you are, that you are in Biafra, you know you are a Biafran. The government are not interested in you. They are not interested in you. And they are not invested in the progress of the nation. They are invested in the progress of their personal pocket. I want to tell you something today. Boko Haram members that you see, that you are hearing about, that you are saying these are terrorists, these people need to be captured or no, they live in the barracks with the soldiers. If you don't know, ask your relatives or people who you know are very much informed about what is happening in the country. They will tell you those Boko Haram members live with soldiers in the barracks. They leave the barracks and go for their operations. And whenever they want to buy, they systematically buy the people they want to buy. Don't be fooled. When you heard that a military jet bombed some military personnel, did you think it was a coincidence? It was more than just a coincidence. Most of these atrocities you see, most of these happenings you see happening in the north, where you hear that the military went against the same military, you discover that they are buying the Christian population. If you go to the buyings of people of these northern states, especially the north central, Kogi, Benue, Plateau, Bauchi, Kaduna, you discover that they are buying the Christian population in that place. They want to take charge. They want to dominate. They want to take charge. They want to dominate. Now, in the center, what are they doing for the development of the people? Nothing. Recently, a loan was collected for the development of universities in the country. No Southeast or South university was included in that NEL fund, a disbursement of funds. No Southeast University was involved. Why is it so? Ask yourself that simple question. Why is it so? They continue to remove you, to tell you are not part of the country. They continue to tell you directly, not even indirectly, directly, that you are not part of the country. So what are you thinking? Why do they even want us to remain together when they don't want us to participate in everything that is happening? Look at the security architecture. Just one person out of, was it 16 or 14 persons? 6 coming from the west, 4 coming from the northeast, 1 coming from the east. 1. That is the problem. These things have been the problem.
But like I asked you earlier, if they've not been able to use diplomatic channel to extradite him, I remember I told you he was invited, all right, for questioning in Finland. If that has not taken place, what other method, what other means through which he could be extradited? Because currently he's still in Finland.
First of all, you have to understand the fact that Simon Ekpa is Finnish. He's a citizen of Finland. You know, so he has dual nationality. He's Nigerian, he's Finnish.
Okay.
And if the federal government cannot use diplomatic means like extradition to bring him back, there is no other legal means available except for them to rendition him too. And it's up to the Finnish government to accept that.
Okay.
Unlike what we are seeing happen between Nigeria and UK in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. And I keep asking, the federal government is quick to point out that they want to arrest people who are sponsoring insecurity or financing Simon Ekpa to cause insecurity in the southeast. The same federal government is unable to release the list of people that are sponsoring terrorism in the northeast, in the north central, in the northwest.
That's
the UAE said we have a list of people sponsoring, financing insecurity in Nigeria. And we had a government that said, give us the list. The UAE gave them the list. They stood on that list, put it inside a cupboard. And up until this moment, we don't know. A certain 3 people, you know, were fingered as sponsors of terrorism through financing and all of that. Esther, what has come out of that?
We've not heard anything.
We've not heard anything. And you see people who are caught, people who are armed that have killed fellow Nigerians. The security agencies arrest them and take them to the police station. The next day they are out. I bet you are quick to say you want to arrest people that sponsor, people that are carrying flags, people that are waving flags in parts of the country. So does that show a sense of sincerity on the part of government to fight insecurity? Clearly no.
But let me ask you something. I remember there was an Islamic clergy that threatened the president's wife. Would have expected that the security agencies would have tracked that man, all right, and put him in custody for making such a treasonable comment. We've not heard that. We've also heard the brazen nature of these bandits carry on TikTok, right, a social media platform. They do giveaway with the monies given to them by those who want their relatives to be released from their capture. But we've not heard anything afterwards from all of that.
So in any case, they are not interested in making the country better. They are not interested in your future as a Biafran. They are not interested in making you a better person or creating a better society for you. So your only best option is the government of Biafra in exile, and you must find ways and find means to support them financially. What they need now is serious, heavy financial support so that they can carry out all the activities and grant us Biafra. Biafra first. Always remember that it is Biafra first. Biafra or die. Forget about this Janjaweed and all these people who support them. They are not ready for your development. Remain steadfast. Remain focused. We are moving.